standings. They're in the top half, so at least there's that. Where are we going to play? What map? Let's find out. Bring it up for you.
So we've got no bank, no cafe, no consulate, and we're going to go to Border as Clubhouse and Villa were blanked out in the second most popular map, or the third most popular map in Latin America, Border.
Yep.
Long time one of the second most popular in the entire region will be the site for our second match.
Yeah, okay, so Border is another one of those maps that, again, it had a rough start when it first came out, and then for a very long time it was just the map in Rainbow Six Siege competitive. Some teams are starting to kind of phase away from it as it's been almost fully figured out. You know, there's always some new thing, a little tiny angle or something that pops out here and there to surprise everybody. But it is the kind of map that everybody knows how to play.
Yeah.
So this is probably going to be a really good playing ground for both of these teams to compete against each other, considering how close you would expect this match to be.
What do you think? Who's going to win? Team Liquid, often a fan favorite, going up against Ninjas in Pyjamas, and not a surprise, even despite the fact that Team Liquid have had a lesser season than Ninjas in Pyjamas. The fans have spoken loud and clear, and they say, let's go Liquid, or I can't remember how to pronounce it. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce it in Portuguese.
It's good.
I think it's just a good call. I don't speak Portuguese.
Capitão.
Stop.
Capitão.
Capitão. Yes, that's it. Who we might even see in the matchup today here on Border. Not as strong of an operator on Border as a lot of other maps.
He didn't get played on Villa at all, and he was not banned.
Gridlock did. A lot of teams bring a Nomad Gridlock Capitão in that same slot. You know, Pengu actually talked about this. I think it was yesterday on stream, and then he tweeted about it as well. Is basically right now with the way that the attacker meta works is that the defenders influence the meta more than the attackers do at the current moment. Yep. In order to take care of Maverick or Maestro, Echo, if there's a mirror on the board, Jaeger, Legion, etc., you're going to need one, possibly two hard breachers. A lot of times, one of them might be a Maverick, so that locks in, effectively two. You need some kind of anti-denial. You might bring a Twitch, a Thatcher, an IQ, etc. You need some kind of entry. It could be a Buck, a Sledge, a Zofia, maybe even Ashe. And then you have one remaining spot. And right now, that spot is being filled by Nomad, Gridlock, Capitão. Sometimes Zofia, if you need a second entry, like let's say if you want to bring an Ashe or a Twitch alongside a Thatcher and a hard breach combo, etc. But yeah, kind of surprising we didn't see Capitão. We did see a lot of Gridlock, though.
Lion going to be banned out here early on by Nip. They just don't want to deal the EE1Ds. You
know how good Liquid is when Lion can be on the board, and well... Yeah. Liquid don't want to deal with Nomad at all.
So some strong preference bans coming out here, but these are also nothing surprising. I mean, these operators are so powerful in the way that they change the flow of the game, and the most powerful in terms of influencing the meta of the round. We could say, I think with confidence, that Mira is the most influential operator in Siege right now. If we're talking about defense being more influential than attack in general, then Mira is the most influential defender, I would say. Echo going to be banned out right after. Now, quick clarification on that point. When I say influential, I do not mean powerful, so please do not interpret it that way.
Don't you dare misinterpret him.
I'm sure it will be, though.
Or he will find you.
Whether I
he
will
find you, and he will tickle you.
Why? Why that? Why?
Capitão coming out.
I am very ticklish myself. And yeah, he'll be played here in this match. By Moringa? Nope. Okay. They heard us. And they just couldn't have us they couldn't let us be right, Parker. And now Buck's being played instead of Capitão.
Buck is a very smart pick on Border.
Yes, very powerful here. We actually see him banned a lot on Border. He's one of the more common bans here. Especially depending on the oh, is that perfectly synced up? Nah, just
very close.
Very close.
Very close. Muzi and Julio coming so close.
Anyway, Buck, does get banned a lot on Border, so good to see him here. Another thing that gets banned a lot is Thermite, so he's not banned, but he won't be brought. Team Liquid going to stick with the just the Thatcher and the Habana. And oh, hey, look at that. We have a Thatcher in play.
Yeah, he wasn't banned out for Liquid's game, actually.
That's cool.
If I remember correctly, 2 play days ago, or 2 days ago, last play day.
I'll check.
5 seconds left before insertion.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm like decently certain because Liquid played in the third match.
Yeah, he wasn't. He wasn't. It was Capitão and Maverick. They don't.
Neither of whom are banned here, though. So
Liquid does have a history of banning Thatcher, but they haven't done it the last 2 play days, so.
This is something we've seen teams do before, this armory wall. So open up the right-hand corner of the armory wall. Some teams will put a deployable shield and place an ACOG behind it. Some teams will put a mirror window on the leftward panel.
The leftern.
It's supposed to be like the
Makes me think of
eastern,
lectern.
because it's the eastern portion of the wall.
Yeah.
Lectern, like as if we're in a
Just the word, you know.
It does kind of sound like that, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to open up that wall, and then you're going to put the Evil Eye camera there. It's going to have a nice long view all the way down towards Monitor's window, to the curve and the balcony. And, well, if you've got any kind of hard destruction, you can take care of it. There's no sledge on the board, so the only person who can actually disable it, other than an EMP disabling it and then shooting it, is going to be Moringa. And he'll have to expend a frag grenade in order to do that. And oh, it actually looks like it opened up, and Nesk just picks away at it. We'll actually get it. That is a mistake from Ninjas in Pajamas.
It might have been an EMP. I thought I heard a EMP there.
Could have been an EMP from above, actually. No, you're
Yeah.
right. Because the Thatcher was on the roof.
Yeah, so...
Great call, Michael.
Good good coordination, I guess, from Team Liquid to take out that Evil Eye, and nice placement of the EMP from PSK. There is a limited range vertically on that EMP, so that PSK had to know exactly where the Evil Eye was to make that happen. Some play inside the hallway is quite interesting. Ninjas in Pajamas are very aggressive on the CCTV hold, and it's going to be Julio to get the first kill onto Palu, who's attempting to push in. That's a nice angle from Office by the triple wall, and Muzi's going to add to the death toll here. Ninjas in Pajamas continue to hold on to CCTV. A rotation from Psycho, and he almost gets 2, narrowly missing the head of Sexy Cake. But right now, Ninjas in Pajamas in full control.
Attackers have dropped the bomb.
Yeah, that wasn't a hurry in their favor, and it looked to be going quite well, actually, for Liquid at the start. The onset here, Mizuno Monitor's control for Sexy Cake. He's got some debris in the way, and well, he's going to fire in vain. He doesn't know that there's a Jaeger prone right next to him. And, oh, the supernova in the hands of Sexy Cake, and it's a flawless round as Muzi joins in with Kamikaze, and everybody from NIP seemed to get in on the action there, at least a little bit. Sexy Cake did this on Thermite in their matchup just 2 play days ago.
Yeah, it's that is one of the most solid CCTV roams I've ever seen. It partially comes down to Team Liquid doing a really poor job of picking, well, I'd say dislodging players, or just slowly dismantling that hold in CCTV. Instead of trying to go the more methodical route where they drone every corner and then push in again methodically, Team Liquid kind of just smoked and rushed in and died. And then following that, Ninjas in Pajamas were not about to throw the round away, played smart, played safe, and waited for the last 2 players to come to their death. So a big part of that round was actually the fact that there was a player in break room who didn't get droned out. He was just hiding behind the fridge. And Liquid did not drone him out before pushing in. That is negligence. That is serious oversight there from Team Liquid. So you got to hand it to NIP for holding on to CCTV so well, but you also have to critique Liquid for skipping some steps. Either that or it was a rotation from the office wall, and that rotation was facilitated by the smokes that Team Liquid themselves placed down. And I'm talking about the person who pushed into break room. He was either there already, or he rotated thanks to the smokes Team Liquid put down. So, I mean, no matter how you look at it, mistake.
Sexy Cake is bringing the Supernova yet again, as it's going to be a different site as Armory's locked, of course, because it was won just in the previous round by Ninjas in Pajamas. Flawlessly done. Uncommon for Liquid to be held off of the scoreboard, even in defeat. Always been a very frag-heavy team. You can't be having too many more of those rounds if you're Team Liquid here on Border. But it looks like it's going to be an Office's take, as a lot of teams will do this. They'll clear out the second floor from above. They'll take the eastern side of the building and then push towards the west. And Moringa takes the entire wall apart. You see a couple silhouettes of defenders, and Psycho is one of them. He decides to go for a run out, but the buck of Moringa could have been very exposed, but he had Palu right there by his side.
Yeah, that was a few seconds away from Psycho getting a double kill, but Palu with the shutdown, really well done. Give him massive props for that. That almost cost Team Liquid another round.
Yeah, and I mean, if there's a player who's going to be able to go for a run out and pick up a 2-piece, it's going to be Psycho. Let's be completely honest. He and Kamikaze tend to be the 2 heaviest hitters on this team. I don't know what NIP is doing. I don't know if they're just simply trying to roll with it and take advantage of the fact they caught Liquid off guard in round number 1, but yet another body from Ninjas in Pajamas will be taken out of action. So 5v3 for Liquid now, very early on And you still got Musi above, too.
Yeah. I don't think that there's much information on CCTV for Team Liquid, so there might be opportunity there for Musi, but this is actually a teller's take right now for Team Liquid. They're just taking out all the roamers in office, isolating office, cutting off that rotation from ventilation window there, and then they're just going to hit from teller, so they don't have to worry about a flank. With a man advantage being this strong, Team Liquid are in a great spot here.
You got Liquid firmly in the driver's seat, and the entire bathroom wall is open for the taking now, and that's going to be Moringa using a skeleton key to bust it up. Paulo sees a body of the smoke, or that's the mute actually, of Kamikaze rotate on over. Pardon me on not seeing that one. It looks like it might be a flawless round for Liquid now. Esk just comes on in, takes out Kamikaze, and Musi's here on the flank. He sees the head of one body, but he won't take the shot. He'll try to get back down as it's Julio to hold off the storm that's coming. Sexy Cake attempts the plan as there's smoke right now to exclude the various members of NiP from getting on in. No flawless round as Ness gets felled. Diffuser down, and there's an artificial timeline now. You get Julio picking up another kill. Musi goes for the jump on in, and it's a 2v2. Musi's very low. Julio doesn't know where the body is, but there's Musi to pick up another. And oh my god, very quickly on now. It's a 2v1 favoring Ninjas in Pyjamas. They'll stick the diffuser, and PSK might not know this. He's going to go up, and they'll try to be baited in, as they won't stick the plant. There they go, and PSK still has the punch hole from above, as well as the opening. He's going to try to do work. Oh, he looks for both, and it's a big round from PSK. He's having a good time above. And he'll put both members of Ninjas in Pyjamas out of their misery. They were both so low. It's only a bullet or two to take them both down. A good recovery from Liquid after it looked like they might have taken their foot off of the gas pedal there.
Yeah, for a moment, it seemed like there was going to be a beautiful retake there for Ninjas in Pyjamas, but it just wasn't enough in the end. Nice try to Julio and Musi, but just like I said, couldn't make it happen. Now, really just PSK being the smart, safe player upstairs, and Ninjas in Pyjamas not going for retake. There was actually potential for them to address PSK from two different angles. Could have gone up metal. They had time for it with 3 speed, but the patience wasn't in the cards for NiP. Alas, if you are one of their fans. Now, they're going to go back to ventilation, and okay, that came down to a 1 versus 2 favored NiP in the end, despite Ninjas in Pyjamas losing 2 players for free early on in that round. So one would assume if Ninjas in Pyjamas do better of not running out all the time everywhere and getting picked off, then they might be able to have a better round. It's definitely possible.
10 seconds remaining.
Ninjas in Pyjamas did, I think, lose that round for themselves, kind of handed it to Liquid.
5 seconds to insertion.
And you take risks, they don't pay off, it happens, nothing wrong with that, but it really is, I think the caliber of a team is usually judged by when they decide to change things up, use a different path.
It was very interesting in the way it went. The pendulum swung one way, and then the pendulum swung another. It was, I got a feeling, I don't know if you did, I got a feeling that it was going to be
a retake, yeah.
A retake, and I thought NiP was going to be able to do it, and
same.
I'm surprised. NiP had a bunch of bodies that were, or rather Liquid had a bunch of bodies that were in positions where they were just looking the wrong way. This seems to be a common refrain today, because the same thing happened to FaZe in their matchup against INS in the maiden voyage of our play day. I'm not entirely sure. Maiden voyage is, I think that's appropriate.
Start.
Just apropos.
I did get that feeling as well, Parker. And
yeah, I thought NiP was going to win that round.
I think it really comes down to the strong individual play that you see on NiP. I do think they still could have won that round. There was one thing that I think they could have done better, and that was just try to retake on PSK. They knew he was upstairs, they were hearing the Legion trap, so make the executive decision, just push up. You know, try to take the top floor back. But, again, alas, they didn't do that. Now, they're going to have another opportunity to iron out all the kinks as they now are on a ventilation defense once more. See if they can make this one work a little bit better. Ooh, this could potentially be disastrous if it's played correctly. 1 bullet. And he's a little bit off of the monitor's window. Just a little bit off. Psycho a little bit to the left there probably would have been able to get a kill, but he might still later.
This is just such a big brain play right here.
Yep. Definitely, definitely a very smart play from Psycho, waiting for the opportune moment, but he's not going to get it yet.
They haven't given him it yet. I don't think it's about him getting it. It's just that Liquid have not taken the bait. Yeah, they don't even really know. I mean, it's not even really so much a bait, necessarily.
It's just they have been playing very safe inside office. A lot of teams, they'll try to take full control of office. They'll push in from the radio window, and then they'll clear the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, Liquid just pushed in through radio window and then fell back. And that's why, at least I believe that's what's going on here. I actually haven't seen the surroundings of the Maestro, so I don't know exactly where he is. I'm guessing it's all by office, so I don't know.
So Liquid is once again knocking on the door here of the bathroom. The wall was left soft last time, which was prime territory for Moringa to tear it all open. And well, you hear the skeleton key going off, so your guess is as good as mine that that's exactly what's happening. The only difference is that Ninjas in Pyjamas have not thrown their lives away for no particular reason here. You've still got Psycho watching an angle. He's up all the way in cafeteria now, looking down towards the lobby. Nip's got a couple bodies assembled on site, but now they'll just, you know, call in the cavalry. So the remaining members that are offsite are starting to circle in around, but there's only 15 seconds left. Team Liquid's patience right here might be their undoing, but Psycho gets picked off by Nesk, immediately gunned out as 2 guns from Nips come alive. Down goes Palu and Sexy Cake. Kamikaze now watching that diffuser, which will need to be retrieved as Pino takes out Moringa, and well, doesn't matter, you're going to run out of time. Ninjas in Pyjamas simply need to survive, and that's all they do, even though it looked like it was a 1v2 that favored Team Liquid.
Okay, so you recall that I said the caliber of a team is their ability to change their pace, change how they decide to play each round by round. And Ninjas in Pyjamas proved their caliber as they just, well, I mean, last round they defended ventilation. What did they do? They ran out everywhere. They got picked off. This round, they played passively in sight. They played smart. They waited. And while the team fight came out, it looked to be very exciting. It didn't matter because Team Liquid spent too much time. They spent too much time trying to clear out upstairs, then rotate downstairs, and set up those flank watches and do all of the steps, which is great. You know, thorough is better than loose and hazardous. I agree, but it was just inefficient. And on a map like Border, those inefficiency, like that level of inefficiency is kind of curious. You don't expect to see it. It's such a fleshed out map, as we talked about at the very beginning. And you add on to that the fact that, you know, for example, if you're confronting hard walls that are being bandit tricked, you've got a Thatcher. He's not banned. You've got all of your hard destructors. None of them are banned. There are all, you know, there shouldn't be this great hurdle that slows you down to this extent. At least to the extent that Liquid was slowed down in that last round. That just should not have happened. And the reason it did happen seemed to be Liquid expecting Ninjas in Pyjamas to push into them, and Liquid waiting for those picks to come for free, which I understand because that's how NIP were playing. But NIP changed. They adjusted. You have to be able to keep in step with them, or you're going to fall behind.
Patience is not always a strong suit of Ninjas in Pyjamas, especially with the way that Psycho and Kamikaze play in tandem when they're not on site. You've added Musi to the mix now, who has been much more aggressive, I think, than some people were anticipating from another member of Ninjas in Pyjamas and a different flex player. But my saying that I say every time we play Ninjas in Pyjamas is that they live and die off of their roam and how aggressive they can be. And in this instance, well, Ninjas in Pyjamas were quite aggressive on that second round, but they tightened it up for the third round. Like you said, they changed, they made the adaptation that they needed to, and Liquid were expecting NIP to try to take fights. And when they didn't, Team Liquid got restless, and they just ran out of time. It was poor time management on Liquid's part, but it was also some commendation that goes to Ninjas in Pyjamas for the way that they played that ultimately. Now, it's going to be an armory defense for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Again, they've only gone to 2 sites so far. Big part of that is that Liquid was able to win the very first defense that happened for NIP on Workshop.
Yep.
So you have to go back to Workshop, presumably, because Border is not a map where you have 3 suitable sites. Usually you have 2, and then 1 decently hard to defend site, which can be customs, or, as of late, bathroom. It's going to be an armory wall take here, though. So instead of Liquid going for the offices over to the archive side, it's going to be a straight slugfest through the armory wall once it gets opened up.
Well, it's now nice and open here for Team Liquid. They have been much more efficient in this round because they have control of CCTV, something they have struggled with in the past. The last time they attacked onto Armory, CCTV was a great hold for Pyjamas, and it all ended there. Team Liquid not making the same mistake they did that round. Ninjas Pyjamas, though, again with the passive play, Pino's going to eat some damage early on, which is unfortunate for him. Maybe an aggressive peek by the A bomb site, but Palu takes out Psycho at the top of metal stairs, and Moringa finishes off Pino with a well-placed grenade. Now Team Liquid have gotten the picks that they also need on this site take. Evil Eye going to be calling out a lot, but no zapping going on here. Kamikaze the first kill for NIP, but he gets downed in response. A knife kill to finish him off. A retake here into Box, and Muzi's looking for a fight, but he can't find it. And Liquid, a nice sweep there, coming in through the armory wall. we're going to have a constant back and forth, it seems, in this match.
Yeah, Border's not exactly a matchup where you expect the defenders or the attackers to run away with it. 3-3s are decently common here on this map. 4-2s are typically as much as you're going to get, unless it's a really lopsided matchup, and then it'll go in the 5-1, 6-0 favor, which, I mean, off the top of my head, and I haven't watched every single game of Border that's been played over like the last 3 months, but I can't remember the last time you had two evenly matched teams that ended up being a 5-1 or a 6-0. But anywho, I expect we'll go back and forth as well. And it'll be another crack at Armory now for Ninjas in Pyjamas, who got swept away by a very powerful and surging Team Liquid there on the fight that ensued. Once that Armory wall came apart and Liquid decided to move on in, Nip got a little bit too hasty, a little bit too aggressive, as they have done in the past. And I think the story so far that has developed over 4 rounds between these teams is that when Ninjas in Pyjamas gets really aggressive, Liquid is there to punish them for it. We have not seen a successfully aggressive push from Nip on defense, as they've been contained and beaten every step of the way by Liquid. If I'm Nip on this Armory take, you have to play in a position where you might want to hold monitors effectively. You held it on round number 1, but it didn't work out so well on round number 4. Maybe change things up. I don't know if Liquid is going to go for an Armory take again. They just did so quite successfully, so they might think that there's an opportunity to replicate that success. Or they could flip the coin and just go towards the Archives wall and switch it up and catch Nip guessing.
I really want to know is... What I really want to know is Nip going to try and roam in CCTV like they did on the first round? Because it worked out so well. They just decided not to this last time. So, and you saw how that worked out for them. It looks like they are stacking up in CCTV once again. A lot lighter presence than the first round, but still a presence nonetheless. And that is going to cause Liquid to slow down their attack and go through the step-by-step process of clearing out CCTV. A lot of this just comes down to how long can these players survive in this position.
Yeah.
The prepped C4 there from Julio over in office also going to be by East Stairs. Now that one C4 is actually going to alleviate a lot of pressure these CCTV players feel, because East Stairs control a foregone conclusion for most, going the way of attack. But if you can punish attack for it with that C4, then you can allow players to play in more advanced positions like CCTV for longer on the defensive side.
A little taken aback by how Liquid has not really bothered to change up all that much. They haven't been as versatile in their operator lineup.
Yeah. Notice that just the players being in CCTV is slowing down Liquid.
Yes.
So much. Last time the last round where there were no players in CCTV, Liquid had control of CCTV already, and they were opening up the Army wall at this point. And this time, well, they haven't really gotten much done here.
Monitor's control right now is just eluding Team Liquid, who are just dumping utility in at every step of the way. They're unable to get through the main door right now. Beautiful shot from Palu. Oh, and a second right in a row on Amuzi and Psycho. He'll walk through the smoke canister that was tossed out by Kamikaze to try and give his teammates some covering fire, and PSK down by Kamikaze through the open rotate. He's playing with fire right now. Palu's been on one so far, and Toxic Canister is actually going to miss quite a bit. Nesk shut down from below with Julio, getting a beautiful C4. And well, we're back into 3v3.
Palu just punished Kamikaze on the HP for rotating back into that Archives, and half HP smoke. It's going to be much less lethal, of course, than full HP smoke, so good job there. And another for Palu! He's got all 3 kills for his team, and actually all of the damage done so far. He's, at this point, looking for an ace. He's on the entry into A, but Moringa's going to get that ace denial. And there you go, a 4K for Liquid, though almost all of the damage done, as he actually did half of this smoke that Moringa just killed. And you got to expect he would have won that fight against the smoke had Moringa not been there. So a really beautiful round there from Palu. And off the backs of his tip-top performance, Team Liquid will take that round. But if it had not been for him, I don't know if they could have done it.
No.
A very individual performance. This is the first time we've had 2 rounds in a row for either team.
It's Liquid's first lead.
True.
Both teams have led through 5 rounds. Applause.
And we'll be going to ventilations. It seems that,
Not a shock.
yeah, Armory has not been the place.
Not over the last 2 rounds. I mean, the one round that Ninjas in Pyjamas successfully defended on Armory was because of that beautiful monitors control. You noted it yourself. They had 3 bodies in there. There was nobody that was, from Liquid were able to do all that much. Ended up being, what, like a 2v5? With Liquid still attempting to tackle and section off monitors before then moving over to the actual site. It never ended up happening. But since then, whether it's just a deficiency in the way that they hold monitors or a much better system that Liquid has had on attack, monitors has not been quite the same. It looks like the rest of the Armory hold for Ninjas in Pyjamas is decently impotent because of that, and it lives and dies not off of their roam necessarily, as Nip does, but off of the way that they hold monitors. And in this case, it was picked apart masterfully by Palu last time, as well as in conjunction with Moringa. So I think Workshop and Vents is the right call. I mean, you don't really have anything else to lose because statistically they would probably lose Armory again. So even if you lose Ventilation Workshop, it's what's that old saying, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Yep.
Basically the same thing. So, final defense for Ninjas in Pyjamas. In this case, they brought a Rook out in Julio's hands. It's not an operator that we actually see Julio play very much, so that's a bit interesting just on its own.
Yeah, I mean, not a bad operator, especially if you want some impacts. I mean, he can give you those, and there's some versatility in him as, well, he does at least guarantee the down on the explosives, so nice. Guarantee the down outright, I mean. Still got 1 impact available. Wonder what he did with the other one, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty much just a fragging operator. Makes it easier for the rest of your team to frag. Not much else to say there for Nip. Probably just afraid of the explosive play that's been coming out from Team Liquid. They've been doing well with their grenades. Now, again, a slow start here for Liquid. They have had these, I'd say, glacier attacks, but they've been making it work for the past 2 rounds. So that's not the end of the world. As long as they come up to contact with the site, it's not too bad. Now, the thing that they're trying to do right now is they're just trying to get control of offices. Once they have control of offices and archives, they can deny a flank later in the take, because the actual take is going to be a teller's take here for Liquid, which is the same take that they used last time they were attacking onto ventilation. But in order to facilitate a teller's take, you have to have control of above, so you don't get shot from, above.
Sensible.
Very simple. And that's why it seemed like Liquid hasn't been doing a whole lot. That's why we haven't had any action, because Ninjas in Pyjamas just aren't contesting offices.
No. I don't know if Liquid realized they have the control they need up top. They've stacked up inside of tellers, as you mentioned, which is where they were previously. They've got the Buck as your main point of contact, and they're going to open up the main panel, the singular panel with some XKROs that you can hear from Sexy Kick, who may or may not have the Type 89 or the Supernova. We don't quite know, or at least not that I have noticed just yet. The wall is opened up, so Liquid can now march on in. It's the Type 89 in the hands of Sexy Cake, so will allow him to fight from a greater distance. He's in. He's going to go for a plant. This is exactly what happened last time. And keep in mind, it was a 2v5 that Nip was able to swing back around, but nobody really knows that he's there. Pinok walks right in. Palu shuts him down. It's another kill for the trophy of Palu. It's another successful plant, too, for Team Liquid. Muzi's there as Moringa takes out Psycho. Muzi falls, and it's a 2v4. Right now, Liquid have everything going in their favor. Kamikaze C4 hits absolutely nothing, and Julio is blocked out of the site, but Kamikaze will find Palu. We need to see if there's anybody else. But here's going to be the difference. Team Liquid's up top. So because of this, where are you going to go? Well, you don't really miss a shot like that. When you're Nesk and he's looking for a second, but he can't outduel Kamikaze. 2v1, and doesn't look from above. It's a joint effort, actually, as it's Moringa credited with the kill inside of Ventilations, and Team Liquid take it 4-2 in the first half. We'll now swap sides, and man, those last 3 rounds for Nip, those were tough.
I mean, that last round especially, I really don't know what they were thinking. Team Liquid have been attacking that way onto ventilation every single time that Nip went to ventilation. What they do is they clear out offices, they clear out archives, then they start to push downstairs in tellers. They drone out the site, they establish, okay, we can push in here. They open up the wall and they're inside, done. It's really weird that Ninjas in Pyjamas are doing exactly 0 things to try and slow that down, stop that outright, or anything along those lines. They don't have any information operators gathering necessary info in sight where they know the plant is going to go down. Maestro's not banned, but it's not being played.
Attackers need to locate
why isn't, I mean, it's a really, why is Bandit not bandit tricking over by the workshop wall? I understand, yes, he can get grenaded from above, but at least, you know, put the batteries down. Slow the roll of Team Liquid. Why not have a small roam by tellers? Why not have it by archives or offices? Ninjas and Pyjamas, that defense was in a different world entirely. Liquid were just on a leisurely breeze on the take there. So, I mean, that's the story. So, we move on to the second half. Liquid will be beginning their defense run on Armory. Go figure.
5 seconds to insertion.
I believe they call this one all reliable.
It is all reliable. Armory, the standard bomb site for most teams.
I mean, like I said, Ventilation Workshop is really the only other option. You don't really have much else besides that. I don't understand why Latin America teams are running a Thermite with a shotgun again.
Or a Habana with a shotgun.
Or a Habana with a shotgun, as we now see Kamikaze running a shotgun on Thermite, and it's not a particularly good shotgun.
I would understand it if you didn't have a Buck, or you didn't have a Jackal, or anyone with a secondary shotgun, because, like, yeah, sometimes you need to open up drop downs. You don't want to waste utility. I get that, but I don't. They have a Buck, so it's weird.
Could have brought a sledge. Ninjas and Pyjamas did run a sledge quite a bit, actually, way back.
And they brought the Dokkaebi instead.
Julio's been playing a lot of really support-based operators that don't necessarily have the highest ceiling for fragging potential, and I mean, that's strange because if there's somebody who's going to clutch, a lot of times it ends up being Julio. It's not that Dokkaebi has bad fragging potential. If you have the SMG-12 or the C75, it can inflict an awful lot of damage, actually.
It's interesting that it's Dokkaebi instead of Capital or Nomad.
Gridlock.
No, Nomad's banned, excuse me.
Or Jackal.
Gridlock or Jackal. Yeah, there's a lot of great operators that can fill that slot, but it'll be the Dokkaebi. I mean, she's a good operator too. There's no mute here, so at least there's that going her way, but it's just a curious decision. We have seen some pretty miraculous things happen with Dokkaebi. I think Julio's actually proven to be a good Dokkaebi before, so not too crazy.
I believe there have been teams that have banned Dokkaebi against Ninjas and Pyjamas, if I recall.
Yeah, so maybe that'll be the light here for Nip and allow them to take this first attack round. But they are similar to Team Liquid, having very slow starts on their attacks.
Yeah, and I think you're going to have some problems here now if you're Liquid, as you've dropped 2 bodies to the main floor, but there's nobody down there from Nip to be able to catch them. You know, both what appears to be PSK as well as Nesk, who will now head on through, maybe back up to the main stairs, but Nip will just break on in. Kamikaze with the shotgun can't take any kind of longer range engagements. Because he's torn all the wall up next to him, he's going to have some difficulty planting if Liquid plays this correctly. Another body from Liquid will fall, and yet another will fall as well. It's now a 5v2 for Ninjas and Pyjamas. There goes a C4 from PSK, but you got the C75 in hand for Julio. Nesk is in a 1v4 position, but he's got them from the back, at least for the time being. He takes a tiny bit of HP off. They can't really do much else. Nobody is down. It's still a 4v1, and Nesk in a big problem right now. Sprays to the wall and manages to catch Muzi. Just a tiny bit of HP. Diffuser goes down as well, but Nesk is not able to make it back into the site. Too many of the guns from Ninjas and Pyjamas watching, and they will take their very first attack. Right now, Border definitely shaping up to be an attacker's ball, and that'll favor Nip, as they are going to be on attack for the next 5 rounds.
So, interesting setup there from Team Liquid. They put some reinforcements on the CCTV walls instead of the actual armory walls. I'm guessing to deny extended angles and allow for retakes later. Well, the retake idea, not so much. But yeah, denying the long-range angles from CCTV makes sense, because if you open up those walls, you can actually just vault on the CCTV desk and shoot anyone playing behind half wall. It's really that easy. Like, if they're crouched behind half wall, there's an angle from CCTV desk. Just have to open both the walls. There are also a couple other really good angles you can play from inside of CCTV. That reinforcement, okay, I get it.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
The way that Team Liquid decided to play the actual Armory defense itself, though, is kind of curious. They didn't have, again, a lot of denial utility. It's one thing I'm noticing being a distinct lack for both teams here, whether it be smoke usage, Maestro usage. It's just not being used well if it exists, and it's often not even being brought, especially in the case of Ninjas and Pyjamas. So that Armory push was pretty easy for Ninjas and Pyjamas, I would say. They just took fights. They made the push happen. And one thing that really strikes me is that Kamikaze, for example, was allowed to push into Armory and then fall back out. There were no smokes down, no gas canisters,
5 seconds to go.
nothing being done to stop him. He didn't take any damage. He eventually did die to a C4 from below, so Liquid are trying to play the denial, but it's such a light presence there from one C4. That's just not enough.
It's a lot of bullets just to quiet the
You only need one.
helicopter.
What is that?
Saying.
You mean the speaker?
Yeah, the don't attempt to board the helicopter.
Ah, yeah.
I don't know if there's going to be a remake. Now, as per the rules, there shouldn't be because there's already been damage done.
As just a quick clarification, we're not admins, but yeah, there shouldn't be.
I don't know what that means.
I'm guessing play the round or something along those lines.
I'm not sure. I think they have to continue to play on. Now, the rule that has changed that was confirmed to us was that it's within the first 30 seconds of live action, providing there's been no damage done.
Yeah.
And well, obviously, Sexy Cake was dead, so there'd been damage
So no remake is possible.
done. I mean,
So-
as per the rules that we know of.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, there is a giant asterisk that basically says,
We're not admin.
well, it says that at admin discretion, right?
Yeah.
So if something seriously goes wrong, like,
Then we could see it happen. It's their decision. But ultimately, yeah, it's not going to be here, as that seemed the call was to keep playing. But Nesk has disconnected, so this is a 3 versus 5 from a 4 versus 5. Definitely not ideal.
I am very curious, though, how Sexy Cake died so early, because it was 25 seconds in, your smoke is dead. And it was on a kill from the buck of Pino, and it was, where was Pino positioned to be able to take the smoke out? Was it a possible front door run out? I'm not entirely sure.
No matter how you look at it, it's a disastrous round for Team Liquid. Palu trying to fight back. He'll do some damage before being eliminated by Muzi, who's got a double kill for himself. And it's just PSK with an actual run out. He'll be caught on the return, and Kamikaze, the final kill. It looks like we will be going for a full rehost just after the round concluded. So that round will, of course, count, and that'll be another one for Ninjas Pyjamas. And we go back to even round count, 4-4.
4-4. Now, tough to see how that round would have possibly played out if Nesk hadn't ended up leaving. We don't know if that was a crash. I don't know. But,
Also
I mean, he
Sexy
wasn't the one who
Cake,
was
though.
dead. Sex Cake was dead.
Yeah, that was an early pick, and I assume it wasn't caused by anything game-wise. It must have been the... It looks like he made it back.
Nesk is back.
Woo! So we just get to go right back in.
Nesk is back.
Guess who's
Yay.
back? So, as I was about to say, yeah, I think honestly the way that round was playing out, Team Liquid, they probably would have lost it anyway. Yes, losing one man is pretty substantial, especially if it's Nesk of all people. But Sexy Cake, the smoke getting picked off very early on, that's pretty detrimental no matter how you look at that, and that's just what I don't know. I assume that would have cascaded into what we just witnessed, maybe to a lesser extent, but NIP were very confident in taking that round. And thus, we will go to ventilation.
Unsurprising.
Yeah.
You lose Armory twice in a row, you go downstairs to the workshop ventilation site. It's what
First half.
nipped it.
Yeah.
5
Yeah.
seconds to
It's the
insert.
same thing. 2 Armory defenses failed, and then, hey, let's try something different. Now the question is, will Liquid be able to win their defense on the change? Because NIP couldn't. NIP lost this round too. We'll see.
I wonder what it was that was affecting Team Liquid last round.
That's a good question.
We'll never know.
Maybe a... Well, I guess we will never.
I'm not
Bomb
sure.
located by attackers.
So,
Not that it would have made much of a difference.
Nope.
Like I said, with Sexy Cake dying early, it was almost certain that round was going to go to NIP. I think this was referenced in one of the qualifier casts the other day, actually, that Siege GG said that it was something like 80-some-odd% that a team will win a round after getting the very first pick.
yeah, I mean, it really does put you in a... First of all, obviously, it puts you down a man. And that's really relevant if there's no refrag immediately. Because that means that when the other team goes for their next fight, they're going to go for it in 2 compared to 1. So 2 people will push in to try and take a fight instead of just the 1. That's a really easy kill there for Nesk. And while it was cover for Palu, so the 2-on-1 rule there stands up. Pino, though, gets the refrag at least. using the grenade to take out Paulo, who was downed. Nesk allowed to cross, and this has just been absolute chaos by the Armory wall. Keep in mind, this is a ventilation defense right now.
It would definitely seem like it was an Armory defense above. You're absolutely correct. I am surprised that Musi wasn't watching the cross into the small office, as you pointed out. You know, it's a position where if you know that Nesk is there, it's very likely that when Psycho went down, they were alerted to Nesk's position at half wall, unless they thought that maybe he'd already crossed at that point. I'm not entirely sure, but...
Definitely, I think he was just playing too tight of an angle to catch the 3-speed on a transition.
Could be.
Probably aiming for the head, so he missed any potential damage he could have inflicted onto the body. It happens. And Nesk going to be allowed to maraud around as the Jaeger. Obviously, you want to shut him down whenever possible.
Got PSK playing inside of the bathroom, too, and I don't know if he's got a longer angle playing out or not. Depending on what he's doing when it comes to the actual walls themselves, he could be able to look around and see Pino. There's a smoke that's going to go out from Moringa, and PSK gets felled, and now we see the guns coming alive for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Moringa gunning down Pino, and Nesk is there too, so from a 4v2 we go to a 2v2. It's up to Julio and Kamikaze that they're able to put together. Moringa's down below on site, Nesk is above, watching the hole that's made in the floor. Julio very close, but Kamikaze just wanders right in, and it's another one for Nesk, who has been absolutely miraculous so far, and a really strong player. Now the smoke gets felled by Julio. It's Julio versus Nesk in a 1v1, but Julio's going to have to grab that diffuser and start to plant. He doesn't have access to it. He'll toss down a couple smokes, and amidst the smoke, he's going to go for a plant. Where Nesk is a great question mark. But he's only got 2 seconds left. Will he be able to get there in time? Getting pinged amidst the smoke. There's Nesk, Julio off, and it's going to be a fight to the death with Julio pulling it out at the last second from above. They'll battle back and forth, and it's Julio who's just better when it comes to that one. Ninjas in Pyjamas, another round in a row. 5 for them, 4 for Team Liquid.
Wow, Julio. You were talking earlier about how he is the clutch player. And, well, yeah, he just proved it. Against none other than Nesk in a 1 versus 1. That is a truly impressive feat, and you got to give credit to Julio for that one. Did not expect him to win that. Just didn't. I saw Nesk coming in, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, Nesk is he's gonna land the shot. He's definitely gonna land the shot, and yeah, he'll get the disabled. Okay. But Julio surpasses expectations.
Attackers need to locate
Well done to him, and we go to a lead for Ninjas in Pyjamas. So, to answer the question posed earlier, will Liquid be able to win where Ninjas in Pyjamas failed? No. And
Just no.
We're looking close. I don't know. I'm kind of seeing a draw. I don't know about you. It's shaping up that way right now, it seems. The Dokkaebi play from Julio has been really big.
Julio has been excellent so far on this attacking half. Not just in the way that his logic bombs. I keep wanting to call them lifelines. I've always wanted to call them lifelines.
What the Julio, the phone call?
Dokkaebi, yeah, the phone calls. I always want to call them lifelines because line, like a phone line, lifeline, and that's like.
Kinda. I could see that.
Is it what they're called? Logic bombs.
Logic. I just call them. I just say the phone call. I think it makes it work.
Yeah, maybe.
Because it's calling numbers. Well, it's interestingly not calling numbers, calling IPs, but...
I mean, realistically, when that hotline bling. Anyway.
I don't know any of the lyrics to that song.
Anyway.
I can't play into that joke.
What else is new?
Aw.
I'm just kidding.
Aw.
No, but Julio's been doing an excellent job in terms of killing, yes, but the gadget usage... We saw the perspective of a couple different members of Ninjas in Pyjamas whose entry was assisted so greatly by those logic bombs going off.
Yeah, really.
You know, we saw it on the buck of Pino, who I believe lost the fight to Moringa anyway, but still came very damn close. And now there's going to be another confrontation here. As the ADS gets burned around the corner, Pino will likely have a frag grenade ready next to see what's going to be able to come of this. This might be another similar play, and yet you can still hear that there's a secondary ADS there.
Well, that's interesting. He just broke the wall, which means it's going to be harder for him to lob an aid towards Palu.
I mean, he's going to go off the door frame, though, realistically.
He could do it off the door frame, but you can get a better angle on the wall because that's going to catch Palu when he tries to retreat from the nade.
Very good point. But you can also open up some of the wall so maybe somebody can catch the cross. So if a frag grenade goes off, remember what happened last time? Well, it was Musi who wasn't able to successfully catch the rotating player. Nesk is taking a bit of damage. Sexy Cake eliminated, as that is Psycho pulling out the suppressed pistol of Zofia. Interesting choice
Palu playing very aggressive here.
Logic bomb going off, alerting everybody to his position. Down goes Nesk to Musi as Nip now have control of metal detectors and beepers. Julio takes out PSK, and Palu, who was the intended target at the very start of this round, has lived to see almost another day. It's a workshop defense. Keep in mind, it feels like it's Armory still, but no, we are still downstairs for the time being. Oh, Palu taking the head off of Psycho. Oh, he almost gets the thermite too. He will, it's a perfect trade. And even though he goes down, it's Moringa in a 1v3. The smoke down below, holding tightly, staring at the A-bomb. He's got his back to the server rack.
He could do it. I mean, this is a winnable situation as a smoke. 40 seconds. As long as he has his gas canisters, he's going to go an aggressive play onto Pino, and he'll be caught in that transition. Definitely not the right call. And Ninjas in Pyjamas will put themselves up 6-4. That's 4 rounds in a row for them. Pretty incredible attacks here from Nip. This actually, I know I was thinking maybe a draw, but if Ninjas in Pyjamas win this, then that's going to put them secure in first, like really starting to break away from the pack if Nip managed to win this one. And they could feel confident if they take any of these next 2 rounds, or either of these next 2 rounds, then Nip can feel confident in their potential to go to Japan.
Yeah. I think Nip has been playing exceedingly well. Exceedingly well.
Exceptionally well.
Yeah, I'd say that. I mean,
Elite.
Nip have, I would say that Nip and FaZe have looked like the 2 best teams in the region, and I would say that still, and you know, despite the fact that Ints has realistically looked like the 3rd best team in the region so far. With the way that Latin America have been played out and the way that, you know, Ints has been playing.
I mean, you used to say Immortals as that 3rd.
Immortals have taken a massive step back so far this season.
Don't know what happened, man.
Through 5 play days, Immortals have just fallen off the grid.
Yeah, they've currently got no wins, 2 draws, sitting in 7th. So, I mean, they do have a match today where I think a lot of people expect them to take a win against Red Devils. That'll be our final one, but still. And yeah, I think you could say that Ints have taken over the you know, the 3rd place kind of spot for Latin America this season. That could change.
Which is crazy because Ints did not look like a strong team prior to this season.
No.
And whether it was just the way that Drunks has gotten more comfortable on that roster, the fact that VNX has looked really good as well, you know, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, they had a number of roster changes. It's undeniable that Ints has picked up some talented players, and well, all of the hopes and dreams and the hard work of Ints and their fans, of course, have come to fruition so far.
Well,
we turn our sights, though, towards the very final possible round. This could be it. It will be the penultimate round, if not, as it is round number 11, 6-4 in favor of Ninjas in Pyjamas, sitting on match point, who are on quite a run so far. The defenders have only won 2 of 10 rounds. It's been a very attacker-sided affair here.
yeah.
And Nip, the beneficiaries of that. They got 4 attacking rounds in a row, and well, Liquid lost it on Armory both times, they lost it on Workshop both times, so they've gone to a customs defense.
Well, Liquid haven't managed to win any of their credit defense rounds, so it could be that they get the same exact split that Nip got, win 2 of the defense, and we go to a draw. But it's gonna, well, obviously it has to start right now. The way that
Yeah, you're kind of running out of time.
yeah, we're getting to the end of the rope here, Team Liquid, so it's a little bit scary if you're them, and still going to be at Rome upstairs, but only by Armory here to try and hold on to a customs, I believe, defense right now.
It is customs indeed. Liquid have very aggressively contested Armory and it hasn't really worked out for them at all, and that's largely because it's been an Armory push from Ninjas in Pyjamas every time. They have decided to go another way, though, and because it's customs, you can't really go from Armory because, well, Monitor's going to be aggressively defended. So instead, Ninjas in Pyjamas' entry is going to come from the eastern side. It's going to be an Office's take first and foremost, then push on in towards Monitors, and then try to translate that as long as you get hatch control.
Well, it's been a transition here from Nip, and a very strong, I'd say in unison, kind of move over to the other side of the map. Julio's going to entry in through jail. He'll get 1. It looks for a second. Sees him. Can't land the shots necessary to get the kill.
I don't even think he did a single point of damage to Moringa there, who pushes on up, expecting Julio to be on retreat. He gets it correct, but there's Kamikaze with his teammates back. Olive guns down Pino from above, but down goes Nesk. That was another body on that second floor. PSK still hasn't been fully detected just yet, though his phone is ringing and there's close enough members in Ninjas in Pyjamas to know his position. Oh, PSK making his presence known at the main door. He'll take down Kamikaze and Psycho and then watch the stairs. Muzi's in trouble. Through the wall, gets sprayed down by Palu. No HP. If he hits a singular goo mine, that's all she wrote. But he's not going to even make it towards the doorway as Palu is holding the angle and pushes on up. It looked like everything was falling apart for Liquid there, but they get themselves in a position to go to the very final round here with 1 point being possible for Team Liquid. Ninjas in Pyjamas might be letting this lead slip through their fingers.
Yeah, we're getting very close to a draw, and we could have the exact same, again, the 2-4, 2-4 in terms of defense. If Liquid just takes one more, then it'll be 6-6. That's the end of the road. I wouldn't be surprised that last round. I did expect Ninjas in Pyjamas to win. It was shaping up to be a nib victory, but, well, I mean, PSK. Enough said. Playing by ventilation, location that was not accounted for by Ninjas in Pyjamas. The Dokkaebi phone calls were not enough to locate PSK, and because of that, he did enough damage to secure the round for his team. Props to him for that, and well, we go to the final round once again for today. It's been two very, very close matches thus far today.
Very much so. We'll see the same with one in Black Dragons, and the only one that might be a blowout is Red Devils Immortals, and even though Immortals are down in 7th place, well, I feel badly saying it because I don't mean to put down Red Devils continuously, but the team just has not.
They haven't done anything.
They haven't looked convincing.
Yeah, they haven't done anything that makes us say, oh, look.
We talked about depth in the FaZe INTZ matchup, and I think it's also worth noting here because both these teams have quite a bit of story behind them, and a lot of them have quite a bit of depth. Oh, PSK just comes an inch away from grabbing ahead of one of the members of Ninjas in Pyjamas. He's worried about a possible push in through detention, or jail as it's called, and he'll sit next to the metal detector, or the scanner rather, and just watch very intently. But Pino's not going to take the bait at all. They'll just sit and wait. PSK gets droned out from the back, and he'll shoot the drone. I think he understands and is wise to where Ninjas in Pyjamas are going to push from.
PSK has been a hero for Team Liquid on defense, and if he gets shut down by the Buck here, that's going to be huge. And there you go. It's actually not going to be the Buck. It's going to be Julio from jungle.
Completely tunnel visioned.
Yeah. I mean, he was worried about the Buck. He heard the shotgun skeleton key opening up the jail wall, and he got freaked out. Understandable, but you're right. Tunnel visioned is the way to put it.
Brings Paulo in a position to get back towards the site, but every single door downstairs is, confusingly reinforced. That might make it a challenge for Paulo to be able to rotate the way that he wants. The soft wall. Psycho's absorbing a ton of damage from Moringa, as there goes yet another logic bomb.
Well, Psycho just taking all that damage, but he opened up the wall. Julio gets his second kill in this round. He's been really outperforming everybody with that Dokkaebi. The phone call, I assume, must have been a big factor in that kill. With Sexy Cake gone, there's no gas canisters to deny the push. With PSK gone, there's no C4 from below to deny the push. It's just down to the Evil Eyes at this point and the pure gun prowess of Liquid.
This might be tough there, but that's an easy frag for Palu. Now circles over towards the doorway. Nesk will catch the frag grenade of Pino, and he's gone from the scoreboard at least. And this is going to be Nip's game. It's a 1v4 with Moringa now, attempting to take on the remaining members of Ninjas in Pyjamas. And the opportunity of the draw for Liquid is all but gone. Though Kamikaze, who was an active member of this team, is now gone. So from a 1v4, it becomes a 1v3.
Ringer's on full HP. Psycho's lit up, so this is definitely winnable. He does have information likely coming out from his Evil Eyes as well, potentially from his teammates.
And you got 4 members of Liquid on cams right now. Oh, down goes Psycho. The Aldo will spray away, trying to find both Muzi and Pino. They will dare it ever so slightly, and he looks one way, but Muzi shuts the door, and he's the hero. As he says, howdy, partner, and puts the Maestro on blast. With Ninjas in Pyjamas taking 5 of their 6 attacking round victories. What a showing from them, and quite a statement. Even though Liquid did hang tough, it ends up being the Ninjas who take that one and will extend the lead that they took away from FaZe previously. Now they will vault back over and take the lead yet again in Latin America.